following is an exclusive presentation of Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports.
1 month ago to the day, number 3 Lakeista McCullough rained threes on North Carolina. The Pack launched 38 threes, connected on 14. McCullough had his best game in a state uniform as the Pack shocked the ACC and the celebrating began. Wolfpack fans also stormed the court in 92. Eric Montross had fouled out of the game. NC State's Tom Gugliotta scored 36, and State beat the Heels by 11. But 9 straight losses followed, and not many gave Les Robinson a chance against Dean Smith in Chapel Hill. But indeed, State was able to take the Heels for a second time, winning by 5. Back in January, McCullough and Mays handed second-ranked Carolina its only defeat of the season. It's time for the rematch, revenge, or a repeat of recent history.
Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports present the best in college basketball, the Atlantic Coast Conference. Today's game is brought to you by Continental Airlines, by Nations Bank, by Food Lion, by Ford, by MCI, and by Budweiser.
The Tar Heels return to the Smith Center in first place thanks to the Maryland defeat at Georgia Tech earlier today. Also in the ACC, Clemson knocked off Duke, and Virginia with an overtime win at home against Florida State. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bob Rathman. My partner is Bucky Waters, and we welcome you to our coverage tonight from Chapel Hill. And a big night it is for the Tar Heels.
Well, it really is. They've waited a month to avenge their only loss this year. And not only do they have that privilege here on their home court, but they're looking to play for #1 spot in the ACC, the penthouse, all by themselves. And as a result of UMass losing today, a chance to go back to #1 in the nation.
Okay, here's our game plan for tonight. And for the Tar Heels, defending 2 shots.
They really do. They remember being burned 42-6 from three-point land against State the last time. But the other thing they gave up was 16 offensive rebounds. So they got to stop that and get their fast break going. Looking at State, they've got to eliminate that quick shot. The best way to do that is to get down inside and establish an inside game. And an inside game for State is Todd Fuller, who is the only confident and productive player right now for the Wolfpack.
Indeed. Todd Fuller has been on fire. We'll look for him to come up big tonight against the Tar Heels. We'll be back up front. The aforementioned Todd Fuller in the middle, with the rookie sensation Joshua Benjamin joining senior Lakeista McCullough at guard. For the Tar Heels, the familiar starters of Dante Calabria and Jerry Stackhouse in the forward positions. Rasheed Wallace in the middle. Donald Williams has hit 2 big shots in the last 2 Carolina wins, joining Jeff McGinnis. Les Robinson, the head coach of the Wolfpack, taking on the Tar Heels tonight after beating them in January. Dean Smith, the head coach of the Heels, 27-6 in Chapel Hill against NC State. Carolina with a whopping lead in the series, but the last 10 have gone to a standoff, 5-aside, and State wins the opening tip. Brian Feggins to Lakeista McCullough. And, Bucky, you expect the Tar Heels to come out and challenge the Wolfpack 3-point shooters tonight.
Well, their memory's pretty good. It was only a month ago. They flat got burned out there, 42-6. So I expect pressure on the perimeter. I expect some openings inside.
Benjamin short with it. And Wallace the rebound. Rasheed averaging nearly 9 boards per game.
He was one of the few starters that didn't go more than 40 minutes in Durham on Thursday night because of foul problems. He only had 31.
Inside Calabria. There's nowhere to go. Some great D that time by Hyatt. McGinnis puts it in. A 2-pointer for Jeff opens the scoring.
Carolina could be tired, of course, of having played a late game on Thursday. If State can keep them working on defense in the half court, just down and playing, this would help to tire them and hopefully pay off for the Pack in the second half.
Todd Fuller off the mark, crashes the boards, but it is McGinnis to control it. Calabria shaken up on the play and lags behind the play. In fact, the officials are going to stop play right here at the other end of the floor. Dante Calabria bending at the waist and now walking toward the Carolina bench.
The state series this year has not been a good one. First, he missed the last one with an ankle problem. Watch Todd Fuller now follow his shot.
Crunch.
It looks like jackpot bowling. McGinnis, not sure what hit him. Calabria saw him coming, couldn't get out of the way.
Here's Landry, comes into the game, handles it out front. Jerry collects it in the corner. Moving on Figgins. Fades and hits. 4-0 Tar Heels.
So far, no hangover from Thursday night. 2 for 2 for the Heels.
Well, the Stackhouse was telling us before the game, Bucky, you're only tired after you lose a game like that, not after you win.
For sure. The emotions carrying over from that win should last, hopefully, for the Heels till the middle of the second half. The problem for State is to be close at that time should fatigue set in.
Figgins puts State on the board. 4-2 Tar Heels. And it goes to Rasheed Wallace. Reverses. And McCullough brings it out for the Pack. NC State hit 14 threes when they beat the Tar Heels. And Les Robinson was telling us, Bucky, they'll be content to run some clock. They won't be afraid to milk that clock. Here's McCullough missing. Rebound for Figgins, and he wiggles it and scores.
State very fortunate because they're not getting smart shots after they work the ball. They can get that shot deep in the corner anytime. They need to get better shots if they're going to milk the clock.
Landry. Back out to McGinnis. Stackhouse over Figgins. 3-pointer.
Talk about ball movement and patience. Right now the Tar Heels putting on a clinic. You know, you think about we want to avenge this loss and all of that. There has been none of that. Whoa, little run and jump.
And the freshman Benjamin in trouble. And that is going to be a timeout to NC State. I think it was McCullough who got the time as his teammate Benjamin was in the big double team pressure. A timeout at Chapel Hill. 7-4 Tar Heels. We'll be back after this message from Budweiser. Now Benjamin advancing to Figgins.
Surprise rotation on that trap.
Hyatt, 3 from the corner, and he nails it.
The surprise rotation on that trap caught State unawares, but it definitely took them out of that methodical approach to their half-court offense. The problem is, when you rotate that way, you leave spot-up shooters out on the arc wide open, and that was a bit of a gamble based on what State did to them the last time.
Fuller and Wallace matched up inside, and a lot of leaning going on here.
Well, look at Fuller's going to win the lean. I don't know about the vertical jump, but the lean's going to go to Fuller at about 255. He has bulked up and just gotten better and better.
Rasheed Wallace, his first bucket of the game, shooting 66% from the field. And the foul will be called on Jeff McGinnis.
Look for Carolina to come back with that little rotation trap again. Dean Smith not looking any worse the wear for those great escapes recently over Wake Forest and Duke.
And he wrote the book in this conference. Houdini would be proud.
Zone now by the Heels, which they like to do when they get a few points up to rest.
Fuller. Back out Benjamin's 3. Got it. Joshua Benjamin, he had 10 with 6 assists the first time they met in Raleigh. That puts the Wolfpack up by 1.
Boy, but since then, the outside shooting for NC State has gone south. So a couple of threes out there early will certainly help this team that's lacking in confidence right now.
Williams. Stackhouse. Here's Calabria's first shot of the night. This Wolfpack team was lacking, as you mentioned, Bucky, in the confidence factor. Look at Wallace. What a great play defensively.
Jeremy Hyatt's got to make that pass to the post a lot more crisp than that, and Tom Fuller's got to go get it. Rasheed Wallace is super quick, and he uses it very well defensively, not just to block shots, but to deny those entry passes.
Stackhouse missing the three, Hyatt the rebound. NC State right with the Tar Heels here in the opening minutes, 10-9 Wolfpack.
NC State really opening up, trying to open up that middle.
Benjamin picks up his dribble, skips it to Hyatt, inside Feggins, kicks it out, Benjamin's three, good again. The freshman from Concord has hit 2 threes, and State leads by 4.
Again, an important start. The pattern for NC State has been to fall behind and then have to come back just a little bit short. So for a team that's been struggling, this start vital.
Elsewhere in the ACC today, Travis Best with 30 and freshman Matt Harpering a big game to face Georgia Tech. Duke falls at Clemson, and in overtime, Virginia wins over Florida State, and you see the #1 team in the country, UMass, going down to George Washington 78-75.
Which opens up the prospect for the Tar Heels to go back to the #1 spot, which is where they were 1 month ago when Les Robinson and the pack derailed them by 10 points in Raleigh.
Rasheed, a 61% foul shooter, misses the first. Coming up at halftime as Pierce Landry enters the game. Stay tuned for the Continental Airlines Fast Takes Contest. Brought to you by Continental, the official airline of the ACC. Calabria out, and Wallace with the second shot. 25 in the Duke victory 2 nights ago. Hit 10 of 11 from the field and a lot of outstanding dunks in that game. He's got 3, 13-10 NC State.
Here comes the trap again off the free throw. The wrong guy's bringing it up for the pack.
10-second count becoming a factor, and it bites NC State right here.
Notice how judiciously Carolina applied the traps. One at half court a little earlier, then they took it off, went zone, and then the surprise 3/4 court. Brian Feggins had nowhere to go. He was lonelier than a hitchhiker with pets back there.
Boy, that's lonely.
Yeah, he was looking for help everywhere. Everywhere.
13-10 NC State. 6 minutes into the first half at Chapel Hill. Bob Rathman, Bucky Waters, and our ACC crew. Happy to have you with us on this Saturday night. Stackhouse had it poked away, and the Wolfpack is running. Feggins kicks it over. This is Harrison. Now back out to Benjamin. His three is good. Oshawa with great range on that one. He's got 9 in the Wolfpack with a 6-point lead.
Well, they've left the game plan, but more importantly for NC State is that they're shooting boldly and they're hitting.
Donald Williams off the mark and full of rebounds. Here's Feggins on the run. Strong to the bucket, and Bryant lays it in. 6 points for the Winston-Salem senior. NC State by 8.
You must remember the home team in the Atlantic Coast Conference is only winning 55% of the time. It's not like the old days.
North Carolina unbeaten at home. The only loss in Raleigh. But here's a Carolina club, Bucky, to underscore the point you make, winning at Wake, at Duke in their last 2 starts.
The best win for North Carolina State this year was a 17-point win at Cameron Indoor Stadium. So they're capable of doing it in a tough environment.
McCullough misses off the dribble. Feggins takes it out of bounds. Carolina ball. Serge Zwicker coming in for the Tar Heels along with Dante Calabria, number 24.
The Tar Heels going big.
Mark Davis coming in at 6'5" to try to combat some of that. Davis with fond memories of this building, Bucky, at 25 here his freshman year. Lit up the Tar Heels for 7 3-pointers in that game.
That was the year they swept the Heels amazingly. Won in Raleigh, lost 9 games, then came here and won. Dean Smith said after the game, you know, you really ought to schedule us more often.
Wallace puts it home. Rasheed with 5. 18-12 NC State.
The Heels in his own. which could tempt a lot of those.
And Davis knocks it down.
Wouldn't it be something if he did it? The deja vu.
5 3-pointers for the Wolfpack here, 21-12. And the Tar Heels with flashbacks to that game in Raleigh when NC State nailed 14 threes. State on a big run here to get a 9-point lead. Calabria answers for the Heels.
You must remember, again in that first game, Dante Calabria did not play, and that was a critical factor.
Blocked by Wallace. Now the freshman came down the lane, and the fly-swatting Rasheed Wallace got a piece of it. His 57th block for Coach Smith this season. 11:25 left in the half. NC State 21, Carolina 14.
Considering what your business has to figure,
25 or 30. How much time we got left?
you may not have figured that if your business uses AT&T, you're probably on the wrong calling plan. Over half of AT&T's customers are, which is why hundreds.
And Bucky, the three-point shooting going State's way here in the early moments. Benjamin has hit 3 threes, and State's 5 out of 7. It has to be very encouraging for the Wolfpack.
Well, it's what has been big for them. They still have to be. Look at that sky, Jack. No wonder they're out there shooting threes. I wouldn't go down in there without a tetanus shot, would you?
The Wolfpack, in its last 4 games, shooting under 40%. Losses at home to Maryland, Clemson, and Wake, and a road loss at Georgia Tech. But they have come out smoking tonight at Chapel Hill. Fuller inside against Zwicker, lost the handle, and it's picked up by Pierce Landry. Ahead to Calabria. Dante across to Zwicker. Now to Shammond Williams is in. Nice pass inside. Williams kicks it back out.
3 subs on the floor at the same time for the Tar Heels. You don't see that very often.
Oh, what a great tip in by Calabria. Dante's second bucket. 21-16 Wolfpack.
That's a lot of confidence by Dean Smith being down and just having 2 starters on the floor. Everyone knows this team's a bit thin.
Ricky Daniels, number 32, in for the Wolfpack. Second leading rebounder on this team. Fuller, short. Stackhouse on the fly, and he puts it in. Well, he is a highlight reel night after night after night.
He's made some plays that if anybody's trying to emulate him, the chiropractors are going to do a great business.
21-18, the Tar Heels within 3.
NC State now must keep its poise and keep moving that ball.
And keep burying the threes.
That.
Jeremy Hyatt is at 2 threes. He scored 6, 24-18.
I think it's important that State keep North Carolina on defense for a long time each possession.
Stackhouse with the contact, and let's see which way this one's going to go. It will be on Jerry Stackhouse, a charge. First personal on Jerry.
Stackhouse a little over anxious, going in there, nothing but red jerseys. But I guess if you've been going as good as he has, you got a lot of confidence. Good defense that time by NC State. When he puts that ball on the floor, he's virtually unstoppable.
Inside, Marcus Wilson. His first bucket of the game. Everybody contributing for State, it seems. The Monroe Jr. makes it 26-18 State.
NC State really trying to go down inside without Rasheed Wallace in there, trying to pick on Zwicker a little bit. Good move.
Stackhouse draws the foul. That is something that Jerry Stackhouse will do a lot, Bucky. Stackhouse averaging 20 points a game and generates so many at the foul line as Wallace comes in for Zwicker. Jerry Stackhouse is a 70% foul shooter, as you see, and he averages 8 free throws a night. 7 times this year he has shot 10 or more free throws in a game.
Well, the other thing too is that, boy, look at that. Todd Fuller with now he did not get that tonight. That's a
that came from Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a trophy from another ACC game.
That was compliments of the Deacons. 9 for Stackhouse, 26-20 NC State.
The Heels extending the pressure now, little rotation. Dean Smith not wanting to see NC State stay on offense too long and gambling on the three because that rotating trap is going to create opportunities for three.
7 straight three-point successes for the Wolfpack. 29-20. McGinnis rolls it in. Jeff with 4. 29-22. The Wolfpack out to snap a 4-game losing streak tonight. Bidding for a series sweep of the Tar Heels. Davis wide. Carolina ball.
Watching the Wolfpack play early tonight, it's hard to believe that they've been in a tailspin. What a wacky league.
Stay tuned at halftime when Dick Vitale presents the DirecTV Dish Out the Winners sweepstakes.
That was never more obvious than Thursday night. The team in last place and the team in first place going double overtime, 102-100. How balanced is that league?
Jerry Stackhouse already in double figures with 11. 29-24 Wolfpack. Here comes Calabria, and Harrison, sensing the pressure, fumbles it out of bounds. The 4th NC State turnover. Timeout on the floor, 7:52 left in the first half. We'll be back after this message from Budweiser.
The Heels pushing the ball up the floor. Stackhouse airborne. Goes through the red jerseys like they aren't even there. Watch the rotation now. Calabria comes all the way from the opposite corner, leaving Marcus Wilson alone so that the rest of the Heels can stay with the outside shooters. I mean, he had to go completely cat-cornered across the court because Carolina wanted to stay at home with the red-hot perimeter shooting pack.
McGinnis. And the flat-footed rebound to Joshua Benjamin at 6'5". In there with the Giants. Here's Hyatt outside. Beggins on the baseline, and the Pack will back it out.
Starting team back on the floor for the Tar Heels now.
Benjamin stops, pops, misses. Stackhouse goes down, and a foul will be called on Beggins.
Benjamin had a good look. NC State getting good shots against the Tar Heel defense. Goes up square. Nobody with him. Good look, uncontested. Both sides of the iron. Stackhouse gets just a friendly little nudge from Brian Beggins. Friendly little nudge at 240 is formidable.
Wolfpack leading by 5. Wallace over Fuller. And Todd the rebound, and Calabria into him for the personal. It'll be Dante's first.
I don't believe Dante Calabria knocked Todd Fuller down. Not without an axe. Good acting.
Benjamin again. Calabria coming to spring the trap. Right guard Pure Power proud to present the ACC Player of the Week. Look for this feature prior to the second half tip-off. Stayed by 5. Benjamin to Hyatt and around to McCullough. Inside Todd Fuller got around Stackhouse, but there was Wallace to greet him.
That wasn't a sky jacket. Never got out of his paw. Amazing stat. NC State 7 for 10 from the arc. Only 3 of 9 at 2-point range.
Benjamin off the dribble. Fuller with the left hand tips it home. His first bucket of the game puts State up by 7.
NC State has established a nice balance both inside and outside. And that's only possible when you're hitting that perimeter shot, and they've got to play you tough out there. I look for Fuller to have a big night.
Donald Williams strips the cords for 3. Donald's first bucket. The MVP of the Final Four a couple of years back, and Bucky showing the form here in the last week. It earned him the wonderful reputation. Wallace got a hand on it. Calabria comes up with it. Through traffic. Dante to McGinnis. Nope, too long. Look at Stackhouse. Up to get it and puts it in. 13 for Jerry, much to the delight of the Tar Heel faithful. Carolina within 2.
NC State working pretty hard to stop that first shot. Pretty good defense on the first shot. What they can't contain is Wallace and Stackhouse on the offensive board.
Hyatt travels. Wanted to fake Calabria, but instead, Les Robinson's back turns it over for the 6th time in the first half. Now the Tar Heels come down with a chance to tie with a 2, take the lead with a 3. 5 minutes left in the first half. Carolina back within a field goal of tying the game thanks to that run. And McGinnis ties it. Jeff with 6.
Wolfpack right now has to go back to getting away from that quick shot. Even though they had the hot hand for a while, they've got to keep the Heels on defense and keep this a half-court encounter.
Hyatt inside. Fuller puts it up and off. A lot of contact. Figgins keeps it alive. McGinnis had a hand in there, and we have got a foul called on Carolina. And Jeff McGinnis. It will be the second on Jeff. Boy, the Wolfpack really battling inside.
Very physical underneath with a nice pass inside. Fuller makes a huge move. Wicker gets a piece. Watch Figgins keep that ball alive. Gets it once. Crazy Karam gets it back. They're not going to give him. They're not going to give him a foul on the shot. They claim the foul was prior to the shot. There were a bunch of fouls prior to the shot.
McCullough. In and out. Hyatt fights for it. Wicker takes it away, and we've got a foul on Hyatt. That will be the second on Jeremy. Keep in mind, NC State has lost its last 2 games in this building by an aggregate average of 38. But boy, they are playing the Heels tough tonight.
Well, they are, but they're just have to shoot themselves in and shoot themselves out. What they've got going for them is an extra day of rest and preparation. By keeping the Heels on defense a long period of time, they've got a chance to wear them down. Every Carolina starter played in excess of 40 minutes Thursday night, except for Wallace, who was in foul trouble, and he played 31. So they've got to use that as a fact to work on.
Drills it. Here's Landry giving Carolina its first lead since it was 9-7.
Some walk on, Bob. Carolina had 9 points off the bench in 43 minutes by their bench, and all 9 were Pierce Landry.
Fuller double teamed. Zwicker bats it away. Williams measures, misses. And Harrison with a board for State.
Boy, the Heels sensing the kill, starting to put it up a little quick themselves.
Loose ball, and Calabria bats it back to Landry. Gets it back. Dante's runner, no good. And a foul inside. A couple of bodies on the deck. Ed Geth is the Carolina player. The foul is going to be charged to Figgins of NC State. 3:13 left in the half. Carolina.
Just a short trot from the Blue Ridge Mountains is a place that could send anyone's heart racing. But Charlottesville, Virginia is also a major financial center because it's served by Nations Bank, which gives Yancey Lumber the resources it needs to keep building its business. That's the Cradocks rely on the nation's #1 bank for auto loans and helps people at all stages of life rise above any financial hurdle. In Charlottesville and in 1,900 other communities throughout our nation.
Here's a look at the You'll Love This Stuff instant replay. Todd Fuller working, and Rasheed Wallace sending it right back.
Return to sender. You better have some good fakes and a good getaway if you're in there pump faking that fella.
Sensational sophomore season. This Carolina outfit, so much has been made of the fact the depth factor, but well, I tell you, that bench makes its contributions, and The 5 that Dean puts out there, I think, are the 5 best in the country.
I buy that. It'll be tested because following this game Tuesday night, they take on the Terrapins up in College Park. That's 3 games in 6 days. That's an NBA tempo. And if Carolina makes that sweep, all of us can hush about that.
Indeed. Stackhouse. Landry. Stackhouse. That one blocked by Feggins. Stackhouse claiming he got hit on the arm. Here's McCullough to Benjamin. The quick 3 is good. 12 points for Benjamin, all on 3-pointers. Tied at 34. Williams. Stackhouse moves in, short, full of the board. And Stackhouse and Feggins, that's going to be a foul on Stackhouse for stepping on Feggins. Zeltenstein with a call. And Stackhouse and Feggins shake hands, all forgotten, at least temporarily, and you'll see it here.
Watch the move. Little charge. Feggins hits the deck. Stackhouse doesn't see him. Yeah, now he sees him. I haven't seen that move since Christian Leitner stepped on somebody's chest a few years ago. That's called a Tar Heel stomp. However, it's a fun move.
Meanwhile, back to the action.
It wasn't a hard stomp. I mean, he really probably could have stomped it out.
1:45 left in the hand. Benjamin kicks it back out. McCullough.
Nice movement by the Pack.
Shot clock at 12. Feggins tried to hit Fuller down the lane, but over his head. Jamon Williams missing. Oh, body's tumbling out of bounds. The ball belongs to Carolina. Feggins went down. Wallace went down.
Feggins spending a lot of time in that light blue lane and baseline. They came on the run for this one. Feggins had his hands on it. Calabria jarred it loose. Look at that intensity. Conte Calabria airborne to the 3rd row.
State with 9 turnovers. Calabria hitting. Conte with 6.
A little brush with the crowd didn't affect his shooting touch.
That reporter from the Hickory paper, though. 36-34 Carolina.
NC State opening the middle up now, taking Wallace outside. Must respect Fuller's outside shot.
Keaston off the mark. He's been cold last couple of games. Jamon Williams on the fly, and it poked away. State coming the other way. Time remaining in the hand. Carolina leading by 2. Shot clock a couple of seconds ahead of the game clock.
State looked a little tired on that one. Jamon Williams just blew by everybody.
Benjamin off to McCullough from the corner. No. Rebound Carolina.
Squaring up. He had good looks all night, but on the other side of the corner, he only had 1 assist, which means that he really hasn't been doing what point guard should. And here Donald Williams times it perfectly, goes up over a very tired Lakeista McCullough. McCullough did not score, 0 for 5 from the floor, and he needs to make a huge comeback.
Second half coming up. We'll be back after this from right guard.
This week's right guard Pure Power ACC Player of the Week is Travis Best from Georgia Tech. In the Yellow Jackets' 2 wins last week, Best averaged 21 points per game and dished out 7 assists. In last Sunday's win over Florida State, Best scored 27 points on 9 of 16.
Pilot Sports' exclusive coverage of ACC basketball is brought to you by Budweiser, by Chrysler Cirrus, by Discus Athletic, by DirecTV, by Continental Airlines, and by Nationwide Insurance.
first half that saw NC State lead by as many as 9. There were 4 ties. A lot of the Pack's points from three-point territory. But the one thing, Bucky, that the three-point shot has done, it has kept the Wolfpack off the foul line. They're not getting much inside at all from Fuller.
Neither team got in the bonus. Fuller was a forgotten man. Sometimes when you start hitting those threes, you go into a frenzy, and it's pretty tough to do that for 40 minutes.
Hyatt, good job of keeping it alive and controlling the rebound.
Lakeisha McCullough, who is really struggling.
McCullough has hit only 5 of his last 26 shots from the floor in the last 3 games.
Well, he was 0 for 5 in the first half, and I think if he doesn't get started, Les Robinson will go to the bench. Donald Williams says, well, I'll take it, but he didn't call for it. He didn't chalk his cue, but it still went in.
After hours banking here at Chapel Hill. 39-37. Wallace, yes. Tough shot. Made it look easy.
Boy, he leaned up against Fuller and then just left him with his quickness. Just escaped with that little fadeaway.
41-37 Tar Heels. McCullough, can he buy one? No. Fuller pokes it out. Look out. McCullough goes crashing into the seats. Meanwhile, at the other end, a steal by Jeremy Hyatt. McCullough, who never caught up with the play, is able to... Oh, he left it short.
I think Les Robinson has to try somebody else. C.C. Harrison on that bench has given some good play on the perimeter and had a very good game against the Heels last time. Just looking at Lakeisha McCullough, he's a good player, but right now he's just completely in a fog out there. Robinson staying with him.
And after he pretty much single-handedly destroyed Carolina and Raleigh.
Since then, it's been very difficult for him.
Fuller. Wallace just drapes it. And that's a 3-second violation against Fuller.
Excellent defense by the Heels. Wallace just refused to reach in there and let him off the hook with a foul. Good post up. Fuller pins him on the baseline. Wallace, knowing time is on his side, just bellies up. Makes a tough outlet pass.
Stackhouse. Short. Draws the ball. Jeremy Hyatt with his third. Here comes Harrison in, and McCullough goes out, so Les making the change that you pointed out, Buck. Wake Forest goes to Rock Hill, South Carolina, and wins at Winthrop 68-54.
Boy, it must be nice to see anybody but an ACC team, but I'm sure Winthrop was a welcome sight. Phenomenal game with Wake Forest and North Carolina last week. Just Wake had to give them a little help, but again, it was North Carolina with a great escape, playing extremely well down the stretch, using the clock well. And then again, what they performed Thursday night in Durham was just a little short of miraculous.
Stackhouse bidding for his 15th point. He's got it.
2 things shouldn't begin early or prematurely. One is an autopsy, and the other is a victory celebration when the Tar Heels have any time on the clock.
Another Wolfpack turnover. Donald Williams, yes! Donald with 8. Carolina stretches the lead to 10.
Right now, State has to just move the ball, use up about 30 seconds. A great move there with a rotating trap to get him to stay in that quick shooting mode.
State only turned it over 9 times in the game in Raleigh. They've coughed it up 11 times tonight.
Yeah, but the traps are sneaky. It's not sustained. They put them on, they take them off.
That's a travel. More great defense by the Heels.
Yeah, they're changing up, and Benjamin, who's a tremendous talent, who's played extremely way against the UCLAs and the Kansas and the good teams. Here he just gets down on the baseline, no place to go, and the Heels won't let him off the hook by reaching in and sending him to the foul line.
There's the turnover story. They're starting to pile up for the Wolfpack. Wallace back out. Williams guarded by Davis. Daniels trying to stay with Stackhouse, and the rebound to Fuller. Good position on Wallace that time.
We've got to play behind Wallace, make him shoot over you, because if you don't, he will just annihilate you on the offensive board. His offensive moves are good, but not as good as he is on that offensive board.
Benjamin missing. Williams running. Good again. Looks like the shot he hit to end the first half. Third three-pointer for Donovan.
NC State is just deflated. They're not guarding anybody right now. Les sees it, and he's taking a very smart timeout.
We will return after this message from Continental, the official airline of the ACC. They got to a 13-point lead over the Wolfpack. They have put together an 11-0 run over the last 2:43. And the Wolfpack using its second timeout. Davis right to the bucket and scores. Mark with 5. Well, Les Robinson really wanted a foul but didn't get it on that Davis drive to the basket. And now we've got a whistle and a foul called inside on the Tar Heels. This one, I think, is going to be on Calabria. It will be his second.
I played a lot of tennis games with Les Robinson. I never saw him move on the baseline that well. He went out of the coaching box. He catapulted down to the baseline trying to catch the zebra. He's in this game, but NC State must be patient. They're not going to get back with a lot of quick hitters.
Ricky Daniels missing. Stackhouse gathers. McGinnis. And a steal by Benjamin. Stackhouse trailing and knocks it away. What a play by Stackhouse. He had it measured from the top of the key, and Benjamin didn't have a chance.
He hit the afterburners. Watch this defensive play. Number 42, Stackhouse, coming from nowhere, goes in front and strips. However, the trail official, who becomes the lead official on the breakaway, trailed the play by 5 yards. He wasn't in position to see. So at home, you get that one.
Benjamin misses, and the foul will be on the Wolfpack. Todd Fuller's first personal.
Patience, patience, patience. The Pack has 15 and a half minutes to catch up 11 points. They've just got to settle down and do what they did at the beginning of the game and keep the Heels on defense for a little while, taking each possession one at a time.
Wall was trying to go up for the slam, was fouled. Friends, the announcers for this game selected and compensated by Ray Cobb and Jefferson Pilot Sports, and the use of this broadcast without their express permission is prohibited. The NC State foul was on Ricky Daniels. It will be his first, and to the foul line goes Rasheed Wallace. He's 1 for 3 at the line tonight.
One of the ironies on this Tar Heel team, they're last in the league in free throw shooting, first in the league in percentage on their three-point shot. Simple solution, Bob. You just move back up, shoot your free throws at the top of the circle instead of at the foul line.
Fuller controlling, and he is fouled by Calabria. That'll be the third on Dante. Much is made of the Carolina foul shooting problems, Bucky, but keep in mind they go to the line a lot. This is a ball club that averages about 26 free throws per game. That's a ton.
They've made 80-some free throws more than their opponents have shot. That used to be a statistic that they shared with Duke when Duke was pressing and running and, you know, getting a lot of fast breaks and penetrating inside. Right now they're faced with a situation where Parks has to come outside to be effective, and they're just not going to the line anymore. And it's all because the defense, they just don't get transition.
Carolina leading by 11. McGinnis. Jeff in double figures with 10.
Freshman backcourt right now for the Wolfpack. And Carolina's abusing them a bit. Looking for chances to double up and rotate. Lots of pressure on the ball.
Benjamin puts it up. That's a charge. Oh, you could almost see that one coming.
That was a freshman play. Just yielding a little bit to the defensive pressure. State's got to get some ball movement. They got to get some motion by 5 guys. Get back to that 5-man motion and keep the Heels on defense.
Time to play Fast Takes. Identify the player that appeared in the Continental Airlines halftime feature. Call 1-800-836-3ACC within 24 hours to enter. And your secret code is 18. Marcus Wilson in the game, guarding Stackhouse. Out it goes to McGinnis, missing the three. Mark Davis plays it ahead now to Harrison. 52-39 Carolina.
This is a smart move by the Pack.
Todd Fuller zips it over to Wilson. And Marcus in and out with it. Releasing Stackhouse. Reverse dunk. Well, I haven't seen that one tonight. Anything else in the arsenal?
Boy, this is a good Carolina team. State had 2 back that time, but they were no match for Stackhouse. He's extraordinary.
The Wolfpack really struggling. Only 5 points here in the second half. Off the glass, loose ball. Wilson hooks it in. Marcus with 4. 54-41 Carolina.
Boy, one of the few offensive boards the Pack's been able to generate, and that was a big difference from that first game in Raleigh a month ago.
I should say so, Buck. 16. Stackhouse. Now they make it look so easy.
This state team right now has just lost all of its intensity. They're just going through the motions. They're stunned.
At 1 point, the Wolfpack led by 9 in the first half.
I find Todd Fuller. He's not touching that ball enough.
Harrison won't drop for it. Fuller keeps it alive. Wilson's got it. Davis driving, scoring. Mark with 7.
2 cracks in a row on that offensive board. The Wolfpack, I think, needs to look down inside and establish Todd Fuller again. Establish that inside game and go to him. He's been productive over the last 8 or 9 games. Right now, everything else is a guess.
Todd Fuller has scored only 2. Subs there waiting at the table. Zwicker, Calabria, Fuller, Higgins. Fuller doubled as he got the ball. Davis misses the 3. Hyatt, the offensive rebound. And the foul will come on Carolina. Donald Williams first. Stops play with 11:30 left in the ball game. Carolina leading 56-43 over the Wolfpack. We'll be back after this message from Bud Light.
Oh, he looks like a little person.
They're really not.
Look how smart he is.
They're not very intelligent, honey. They're dopey.
Look at him.
We have a dummy on our hood.
Oh, where's he going? For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
And now, Valley of the Apes.
History teaches primordial perspiration shouldn't mess with one's style. Consider this powerful discovery. Right Guard Pure Power Clear Gel. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear. But when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right Guard Clear Gel.
56-43, 29%. Les Robinson, Bucky was saying after the Wake Forest game the other night that his ball club was just not moving up and down the court with the confidence and the ability that they showed a month ago. And this is a crucial part of the game for the Wolfpack. Carolina up by 13.
The heels going zone, really tempting the Pack to get into that quick 3-point attempt.
Wilson missing. Donald Williams surveying the floor as he advances up the wing inside to Wallace. Rashid with 9. Everything going right for Carolina. 58-43.
Carolina back to the man for man.
Higgins over the long arm of Zwicker. Rebounded by Wallace. Williams, the floater. Every shot in the book. They got
that to art form. He can find the seam and just hit that little leaning runner. What a touch.
Reminiscent of the shot that beat Wake Forest last Saturday.
And he buried a few of those in Cameron the other night as well. Every time Carolina milked that clock and went down, the right person got the right shot from the right place.
McCullough still without a basket in this game. Wilson over Wallace. Nope. Tar Heels leading by 17. Wallace throws this one out of bounds. Well, the Tar Heels, if they go on to win this one, Dean Smith's ball club will take a one-game lead up to College Park when they take on the Terrapins Tuesday night. You'll see that game on many of our ACC stations at 9 Eastern Time. And Cole Fieldhouse will be rocking as the Tar Heels come to call. North Carolina beat Maryland and rather handily in this building in early January.
Terrapins not going to be in a very good mood either after that loss at Georgia Tech today.
Davis. NC State is ice cold. Calabria. Landry, long three, yes! Pierce Landry with a couple of threes, and Carolina stretches the lead to 20.
The last two games in this building for the Pack were nightmares. What'd you say, an average of
38
points?
Blown out by 46, and last year by 30. Right now it's 20, and the ship is sinking for the Wolfpack. It's out of bounds to Carolina.
Les Robinson desperately trying to put some fight in the Wolfpack. It's just not there.
Nations Bank, a corporate partner of the 96 Olympics, presents this Olympic trivia question. What NC State long-distance runner won the gold at the 84 Olympic Marathon? We'll have the answer later. 63-43 Carolina. Into Stackhouse. What a roll! And Beggins the personal. Talk about a quick step to the bucket, my friend.
It's a clinic right now. Les Robinson desperately trying to figure out what he can do to stem this tide. Stackhouse posting up. Good night. You give him the ball there, and you might as well start the bus. I mean, that's almost too easy for him.
65-43 Carolina. Here's Fuller. Zwicker fouled him.
What a relief it must be for Todd Fuller to get the ball, make a move, and not be looking eyeball to eyeball with Rasheed Wallace.
And I'll tell you, the 7'2" Zwicker's got a pretty good wingspan, too.
Yeah, but
he's not in the same category as Wallace, but still, he's a pretty imposing figure.
He is, and he's come a long way. He's going to be a good player, but no question, Wallace is an absolute force in there. He can force that leather right between your teeth.
First free throws for the Pack, and Todd, an outstanding foul shooter, fifth in the conference at 79%.
The fact that this is the first time at the line indicates that State has gone away from that inside game. They relied on a three, shot him in, and it shot him out. But there's still 8.5 minutes to go. And in this late this year, let's stick around.
8:25 to play. Here's McGinnis. Jeff short with it. Hyatt underneath the Beggins, and he puts it in. Nice bucket in transition.
Yeah, nice work by Hyatt. That's one of the few times that NC State's really kept the pressure on in transition, went all the way. Key is they were under control.
Williams. Stackhouse. A lot of red shirts. He still got the rebound and put the shot up. Carolina with the ball. 7:47 left in our ball game from Chapel Hill. Carolina 65. Wolfpack 47. Instant replay, and we dial number 42 for this one.
Mr. Excitement. The man loves a challenge. Now, he could have just gone down there and drilled it with a basic tomahawk dunk, but no, he got to do 180. He really enjoys playing the game, and he brings a lot of excitement to it. He's an absolute warrior. He has no idea what the score at a time is. He's just going to keep beating you until they tell him to stop.
65-47 Tar Heels, and a foul is called. This one on Mark Davis. Okay, I want to ask you about the confidence factor for the Wolfpack. Here's a ball club that in the preseason started to build confidence. They played UCLA very well. Kansas pretty good at home. They had a great win over Carolina earlier in January. Then things started to get away as Fuller and Stackhouse get tangled up. Things started to get away from them just a bit and started to lose a lot of games in succession. They come into this one having lost 4 straight. What about the confidence? You played and coached. You know how delicate a balance it can be sometimes.
One of the problems is that the freshman backcourt, McCullough, the senior, is just for whatever reason has really lost his confidence, and Les Robinson has stayed with him. And then you have to look around and say, well, where's it going to come from? And this team right now needs, I think, to try to do it defensively. They were playing good defense early, and that's one thing you can do when the shot goes south. But State was just absolutely relying on those three-point shots, and they stopped playing that good D that made them so impressive in December. That guy right there has got to get well. Keystone McCullough.
He has had just an awful night shooting the ball. Davis wiggles and around the rim and in.
And that was a tough shot.
65-49. Mark Davis with 9. 7 minutes left.
NC State needs to think about changing tempo here. Not going after him full court, but trying to do some of those rotations, which they do pretty well at the half-court level. Force some quicker shots.
Great shot clock at 10.
Great spacing right now by Carolina.
And a travel on Donald Williams. Well, if the Wolfpack is to make a late run, they've got to get their big guns going, Bucky. For Les Robinson tonight, McCullough is 0 of 8, and Fuller is 1 of 6.
They really never established him. He was working hard inside, and fortunately or unfortunately for State, they got going with on the perimeter early, and I think they forgot their game plan. He's the guy that's been carrying them.
And a foul called on NC State. The call will go, I think, against Rick Hartzell. By Rick Hartzell against Todd Fuller. And I believe that came with the tangle up with Wallace. No, it will be on Feggins. Excuse me. 4th on Bryant. That will put Carolina into the bonus. NC State making the change as Feggins goes out and Harrison comes in. Bryant has scored 8 tonight. Meanwhile, Jeff McGinnis getting ready at the foul line. 59% foul shooter in ACC play. Puts that one home. That's his 11th point.
Beth and David Bryan of Fayetteville are not here tonight, Bob, and I miss seeing them. Beth, I just say this to you. I speak for many when I say my best wishes. We're really in there battling with you.
McGinnis hits the bonus throw. 67-49.
He'll stand with that zone, just back there in a rocking chair, waiting for State to miss so they can run it down their throat.
Hyatt. And Wallace out, looks to Stackhouse. The catch, the control. Missed the lane.
I was afraid McCullough was going to hold on to that ball and he was going to go right through the hoop. I think Stackhouse was pretty determined. He was not going to pass that ball out.
Batista finally hits one. 2-pointer. After missing his first 8, Batista's shot makes it a 16-point spread. Wallace. Bodied by Fuller. Todd's second foul.
Rasheed Wallace, a cross-country runner with soft hands and a warrior's heart. Boy, can he play. Baseline to baseline, I don't know of another big man in the league that's even close. Perhaps Joe Smith, but I just Wallace's running ability for his size is absolutely amazing.
Rashid is 1 of 4 at the line in this game. He has scored 9 points. And in double figures, the 4th Carolina player to reach twin figures tonight. Our Nations Bank question: what NC State long distance runner won the gold in the '84 Olympics? Joan Benoit is the answer. 69-51 Carolina. McCullough. Stackhouse. Calabria. Out to Landry. Down the lane. Williams. Wallace just reaches back, flicks another one.
Carolina's very smart. How's that for a point guard? Jerry Stackhouse. So I've shown you all my inside stuff. Let me show you my 6-7 point guard roll here. State's got to change up here.
Williams throws it in, and the foul. You can hear the pop of the basketball, and Williams still is able to guide it into the basket.
Here's the move. Donald Williams with the spin move, the little leap and leaner, catches iron, snuggles, goes.
4th foul on Hyatt and Donald Williams. At 24 in the Duke game Thursday. Missed the foul shot, full of the board. 20-point Carolina lead. Shot clock down to 13 as Harrison leans in. Stackhouse controls it.
The light blue machine looks to be in control right here. No hurry. Pierce Landry, what a walk-on. He had all of the 9 points that came from the Carolina bench in that double overtime game of games in Durham on Thursday. He's really a solid player.
Into Rashid. Off the window.
Defensively right now for NC State, there's no pressure on the ball. Todd Fuller's in there just fighting bears with a switch. There's no way he can contain the quickness of Wallace without a difficult pass in. And those entry passes now are going in at will.
McCullough. Hyatt. Kept that pivot foot down. Davis. Wallace blocks and fouls. So some free throws coming up for the Wolfpack with 3:09 to play. Line of changes here with Zwicker, Ed Geff, McGinnis coming in. Feggins returns for the Wolfpack. Rasheed Wallace to the bench. He scored 13 tonight. Donald Williams also going out of the game. And Stackhouse will lace it. 22-point lead for the Tar Heels. On their way to their 18th victory. And Bucky, the point you made at the top of the telecast, a chance to move into the #1 spot not only in the ACC, but also the national polls with UMass going down.
Oh, I don't think there's any question the way the Tar Heels have been playing. And you must remember they've only lost 1 game. And watching this game tonight and seeing NC State here in Chapel Hill in Blue Heaven, obviously, despite a pretty good first half, Carolina is really playing well, and the only question is if they have an injury, they're still very thin. But as long as those 5 guys can walk, they can play. Calabria was out of that only loss in Raleigh a month ago, and we know how valuable he is to this team.
Jeremy Hyatt has hit 4 3-pointers tonight, 12 points, just 1 away from a career best. 73-55. Ed Geff underneath, tied up by Mark Davis. Les Robinson, the head coach of the Wolfpack, trying to find find a key that will unlock the lock and get this Wolfpack basketball team running again, get them winning again. This season in the month of January was most frustrating for the Pack. And you look at that schedule, Bucky, and they have got 5 road games of their 8 ACC games of the second round ahead of them, starting with this one tonight. And a league mark that looks to be dipping to 2-7, barring a tremendous miracle, yet missing the foul shot.
And I expect to see more and more of the freshman backcourt employed with Joshua Benjamin and C.C. Harrison. And you know, when freshmen begin to make that second turn through the league, they better have a B game, because whatever their A game was has been thoroughly diagnosed, and it's going to be a lot tougher to replicate.
Time out of Carolina. We'll be back after this message from Bud Light.
And remember, you're playing for Bud Light, lady. The boys are back in town.
These guys are good.
Who are you calling guys? Yeah.
Looks like you're in the finals. Ma'am, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
You're the defending ladies pool champion?
Carolina, they only shot 39%, but they just scorched them 42-6 from that three-point range. Plus, they did an excellent job on those long rebounds on the offensive board, getting 16.
Harrison hits the 3. His first bucket of the game. 74-58. Williams in a double team, has it knocked away, but Landry comes up with it. Great look, and Zwicker puts it in.
If you love basketball, that's beautiful. What a pass.
Here's Hyatt out to Wilson. Marcus Wilson with 6. Williams ahead now to McGinnis. Zwicker again, stuffs another one. Oh, they love it when the big fella scores here at Carolina.
Well, Zwicker had a chance to be unpopular. He missed 2 free throws at a crucial time in that Duke game, but his teammates bailed him out and won anyway. But he's sure a popular guy when he's throwing them down.
Long 3 for Hyatt. Loose ball picked up by Wilson.
It's a loose pass.
Behind the back, up the court to Williams. He'll dunk it behind his head. Tar Heels having a lot of fun out there right now. 80-60.
You think this crowd didn't want revenge? Nobody is leaving. They're just staying here and relishing in this pounding.
And a whistle and a foul on the Heels. And Jeff got one on the side of the head. 3rd foul on Jeff. Well, Dean Smith will clear the bench. Lynn, McNary, Barnes, all coming in.
You ought to ask for a lineup, Bob. There's like 9 new guys in the game. That's what I'm glad I'm not the play-by-play guy.
Stay getting the reserves in also. Richards and Kretzer. Also in Jason Sutton. He triggers to Harrison. 35 seconds left, and here comes a foul on the Tar Heels, and this one will be on McNary. Charlie's first. Well, in the revelry of victory tonight, the Carolina athletic family asked us to point out to the family of Kevin Reichert, their sophomore midfielder from the men's lacrosse team, who was so brutally taken from us here a few days ago. From Riva, Maryland, parents Carl and Carol watching tonight. And the Carolina Athletic Department wanted us to take a moment and send along our condolences and remind you that they're all thinking about you and the family here in Chapel Hill. Wilson at the line, pumps it home.
Only a 10th free throw this year. Amazing.
21st in ACC play.
Well, when you start jump shooting, you don't go to the foul line much. It's got to be a balance.
State ball with 33 ticks of the clock left. These two teams will stay on the road. Les Robinson and the Pack heading on to Virginia. That will be the next game on Wednesday. While the Tar Heels and our next ACC network telecast at Maryland. Kretzer lays it home. 80, 61, 63. Rebound McNary. He scores. Everybody getting into the act. 82-63 Carolina.
Bill Kretzer, who just scored for State. His dad was a fine player at NC State. Billy hadn't had much time.
And after the buzzer for the shot by Williams, Carolina wins and wins it big, avenging its only defeat of the year. The Tar Heels roll over the Wolfpack. The final score in Chapel Hill, North Carolina 82 and NC State 63. The Tar Heels are 18-1 and lead the ACC with an 8-1 record. We'll continue. Stay with us. Interviews coming up.
Next is Lady. Exceptional sheen. Oh, very good color. Prince. Hands. Oh, such stateliness, such majesty.
Larry. Larry.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
The best of show? More?
Nations Bank. By MCI. By Pizza Hut. And by Nationwide Insurance.
North Carolina 82 and NC State 63. Our final score here in Chapel Hill tonight as the Tar Heels gain revenge on the Wolfpack after losing in Raleigh by 10 back in January. So now the Tar Heels get set to take on the Terrapins, and you'll see that one Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on many of our ACC stations. That one at Cole Fieldhouse. Joe Smith, the Terps await the Tar Heel invasion. North Carolina will move up to Maryland with an ACC record of 8-1. As the Tar Heels take over first place, Maryland losing today to drop to 7-2. The Terps falling to Georgia Tech 100-91. The rest of the ACC standings, Virginia and Georgia Tech in a tie for third at 6-3. Wake Forest at 5-3. Clemson, after beating Duke today, goes to 3-6 in the ACC. FSU also 3-6. The Wolfpack dropping to 2-7 with the loss here tonight. And the Duke Blue Devils now 0-9 in ACC play and 10-11 overall as they lose at Clemson. That earlier today at Little John Coliseum. Here tonight, the Tar Heel faithful enjoyed a performance from their ball club that saw 4 starters reach double figures. Jerry Stackhouse was the leader with 21. Rasheed Wallace had 13, and Donald Williams had 15. And speaking of the victorious Tar Heels, we've got Bucky Waters standing by with 2 of the victorious Tar Heel Warriors.
Thank you, Bob. Jerry, our high scorer tonight, you are indefatigable. So don't you ever run down your batteries?
No, we just tried to keep going. We were energized all night. It was a payback factor for us a little bit. We wanted it. They're the only blemish on our record, so we really wanted to get after them tonight.
Down inside with Fuller, you just absolutely shut him down, and he'd been going so good. How did you do that?
Yeah, we just tried to jam him every time that he got it, because we knew that his move was a little slower going to his right, and we just tried to force him right and then just jam every time that he did go right, and I think we did a good job of conversion.
Nice to have Rasheed behind you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
What about Maryland on Tuesday?
We're going to try to savor this win a little bit and then look, and prepare for Tuesday's game. It's definitely going to be a tough game. They're coming off of a loss, so we know that they're going to be up, so we just got to try to maintain our same intensity that we have thus far.
Okay, I want you to take a look at the monitor, Jerry. This is one of those moves that I spent a lot of time teaching you. Remember at summer camp?
Yeah.
Watch this.
Yeah.
You could have just stuffed it ordinarily, but no.
I had had somebody before the game to ask me if I got on the break to get it backwards, so I tried it tonight.
Oh, you take requests now, huh?
I'll take a little.
Well, I'm sure the fans that are standing around us here will take one. We'll give you one, and that's to get a win at Maryland.
Thanks.
You bet. Donald Williams, up and down, but tonight you guys were just, I mean, I don't know how you keep doing it. You just kind of just hang in there, and then all of a sudden you explode. When they went on that tear with 3-pointers, did you think, oh boy, here we go again?
Not really, but we did remember the game in Raleigh where they did get a streak of threes. But I don't think we played good basketball that night. So we just wanted to keep working on the defensive end and make them shoot the perimeter. We were more concerned about fully inside. And we knew eventually the three-point shooters would slow down. And on offensive end, we just wanted to be patient and get the shots we wanted.
But you really didn't help down much inside on him. You were dependent on Rashid and Jerry to really take care of the inside because you had to stay home on the perimeter.
Yes, especially when they started making their three-pointers. We had be more out there and challenge the shot. So we had to depend on Rashid's shot blocking ability and Jerry's shot blocking ability. And I think they did a real good job on them tonight.
They sure did. You know, you guys aren't pressing as much, but I thought when you went to the run and jump tonight, it was very effective. Was that by design against the young backcourt, especially when Harrison was in there with Benjamin?
Exactly. We know it's their first year in the league, and we know if we do throw our traps at them, you know, they'll panic, especially on the road. And I think they did cause them a lot of problems tonight.
All right, your last trip to College Park. You'll be #1 when you go. Your thoughts?
It's a big game for us. I know they're going to be ready for us because we beat them on our home court. We got to get ready, go out and get some good days of practice in. And we know Maryland going to be ready for us, so we got to get focused and get hungry.
Take your mittens and your overshoes. There's about 10 inches of snow up there, but you'll go #1. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Bob?
Okay, thanks, Bucky, and congratulations to the Tar Heels as they beat the Wolfpack 82-63. We will continue with more of our coverage from Chapel Hill in just a moment as the Tar Heels win over the Wolfpack.
Gillette introduces the next revolution in shaving closeness. Microfins. And they're only on the new Sensor XL. These microfins precede the blades. As Sensor XL's spring-mounted blades adjust to your face, these soft, flexible fins gently stretch your skin, so your beard stands up for the closest, most comfortable shave. Get closer than ever before. Get the new Gillette Sensor XL.
Smack dab in the middle of Tennessee is a city that strikes a chord in people the world over. But the flip side of Nashville is that
and Stackhouse underneath.
Here's a look at the final stats tonight. The Tar Heels hitting 33 of 60. State in the second half shot just 34%. And the rebounding turned out to be even, but the story inside to Carolina in a big way. Todd Fuller, Bucky, we thought before the ball game he might have a pretty big night tonight because we figured with what happened in Raleigh that Carolina would go after the three-point shooters, and yet Fuller was unable to get that ball and score inside.
And he was the one confident player coming in. He was averaging 18 points and 8 boards, and he is their best free throw shooter. But what happened early, State got teased by hitting a couple of those threes, and I think they forgot about the big fella. He never quit battling, but they really didn't concentrate on establishing that inside game.
Okay, when we come back, we will have some final comments here from Chapel Hill as Carolina wins over State by 19. We'll be back in a moment.
Give you proof positive, written proof of how much your business can save by switching to MCI, proving once again the only savings that are true are the ones you can see.
Carolina now 18-1 overall and 8-1 in the ACC, knocking off the Wolfpack as State drops its 5th consecutive game. Before we leave you tonight, let's bring you up to date with what is happening on this ACC Saturday. Georgia Tech with the win over number 5 Maryland, 100-91 at Atlanta today. Clemson with the win over Duke, and the Tigers, Bucky, sweeping the season series from the Blue Devils. Virginia in overtime. Boy, is Virginia golden when the game goes to overtime or what? That's the 3rd overtime win for Virginia in the ACC this season. Number 1 UMass falls at George Washington 78-75. Also in the SEC today, Georgia wins over Alabama, and the one SEC score that really caught our attention was that Arkansas game, and there it is. Bucky, how do you explain this? 21-point loss on the road.
They've not only been upset a few times, they've been humbled, and that was just another occasion. I'm not sure what the problem is, but we all know that staying on top's a lot tougher than getting there. And Nolan Richardson did all of that preaching last year about his coaching. Well, he's got a starting team back, plus tremendous depth, and he's not coaching as well this year.
Well, you look at all the clubs that were in the Final Four last year, and Arkansas struggling. Duke, we all know, has struggled so mightily here in this new year after a 9-2 start, and the Florida Gators not having the year that they had a year ago.
Yeah, but all of the other three had serious losses.
Right.
Arkansas, the Razorbacks came back intact with some splendid additions, and maybe they just had too much. But these losses at this point are not terminal. They get terminal in March and April.
Let's talk about the ACC race, because, Bucky, Tuesday night in College Park, the Tar Heels and the Terps will go head-to-head. It's a matchup that you could see coming, because these two clubs seem to be the class of the conference.
Well, this will be a real test for Carolina. We've talked about their depth, and if they sweep these three games at Duke, home tonight to State, and at Maryland on Tuesday, that's 3 in 6 days. If they do that at an NBA tempo, then we can hush up about their depth. But the pressure, the third game will be a full court press and a transition game if Gary Williams has anything to say about it, and depth will be a factor. But they'll be the nation's #1 team, and that means a lot.
Rasheed Wallace scored 13 tonight. Jerry Stackhouse 21. And another highlight reel dunk as the Carolina Tar Heels pull away from the Wolfpack in the second half and win it 82-63. Thank you for joining us tonight. Our next action comes Tuesday from Maryland, featuring the Tar Heels and the Terps. You've been watching exclusive coverage of ACC basketball on the Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports Network. So long, everybody, from Chapel Hill.